Hi guys, finally getting around to doing a video of all my outdoor plants, front and back garden. This, has been delayed because I was doing my back garden and it looked awful. It's pretty much there, gardens are always a work in progress, but I wanted to sort of leave this video until it looked fairly decent. So I'm going to do an entire tour of all my outdoor plants. So we'll start around the front. Let me tell you around. And I will also apologise if there's any loud noises. We live near a train line, so they do go by quite frequently. Right, so we've got a couple of large rhododendrons. This is a white one. It flowered. Oh, it had so many flowers on this year. They were all over. We have got oranges and lemons rose just there. Below it is Canna Cleopatra. In fact, I'll move back and you can see the entire garden first, the front garden. So this is the front garden. Again, not finished, but not too bad. So yeah, carrying on, we have got two onset Haniba bananas there. These were really, really small earlier in the year and are now at about 4 foot. To be honest, these would be bigger if I'd potted them on a little bit earlier. We have got a red rhododendron here. I've had these years. I lost the tags ages ago, so I can't tell you what type they are, unfortunately. We've got a euphorbia under there. We have got Fatsia camouflage. It's a really nice plant. It really needs potting on and is very shaded by the gunnera, but there's always jobs to do and it keeps getting pushed to the back. We had a frost here last week, and so the tetrapanics are all starting to go slightly yellow. They think it's time to lose the leaves. This one is actually trying to flower as well. This is a Tetrapanax papyrifer. This is a standard form, and they put on these funny leaves, the single and the little triple one there when they're about to flower. The rest of the time they've got leaves like this. There you go, there's a train. This is the damage on the leaf that has been caused by the gunner in the wind. It's been a very, very windy year, so a lot of the leaves have been rubbing against each other and they're not looking their best. Which leads me up to the banana. This is a Musa Bajou, and as you can see, the wind absolutely shredded these. We've finally got a decent leaf, but I'm sure the wind will come along and do that, or a frost will come and get it. This is Gunnera manicata, putting on its nice new crown. The crown's got bigger and it also is putting a baby. I did divide one off of this early in the year. The seed head is absolutely phenomenal on these, and the leaves, I mean, this is in a small pot. People say you can't grow these in pots, but they grow absolutely fine as long as you've got a water tray below them. Got a really good root system. It does need potting on, but that'll be a job for next year. But yeah, the leaves still, you can get decent sized leaves in a pot. I think this was the biggest one this year at it's around 4.5 foot wide. So yeah, they can get to a decent size. We've got a Washingtonia palm here, not hardy in the UK. So that will have to be packed away. Next to it's the Trachycarpus fortunei. Now that is hardy, and I've read online they're hardy to about -20. I must admit, in 2022, the one I had at that point sailed through it. I've still got it out the back, you'll see it in a second. But that was frozen solid and it sailed straight through. It was a really bad winter. We've got another Tetrapanax papyrifer standard there, and another one. As you can see, the leaves on this one, because it's a bit more exposed than the one in the middle there. See the colour difference where it's wanting to lose it because of the frost we had last week. This is an Amorphophallus konjac. I love my smelly flowers. So people that don't know about Amorphophallus, these grow as like a big big tuber underground, a corm, and this is related to the Amorphophallus titanum, the big one that you see in tropical gardens and botanical gardens. And this is actually technically, that entire thing is one leaf, one petiole, and it puts on this sort of fake pattern to make itself look like a harder wood, because it's actually quite a soft stem, and it's to try and stop things from eating it. Now these bulbs get bigger and bigger and bigger, the leaf takes in energy, makes the bulb bigger, and then when it's big enough it flowers. This bulb did flower this year, and they put on an inflorescence which smells like carrion, like dead animal, and it attracts flies in to pollinate it. Not the nicest smell in the world, but the flower is pretty fantastic, and I think you'll agree that that leaf is, well, something special. We've got the other gunner over here. This one had a little bit of a sulk this year. It got repotted and it only started to put out okay leaves halfway through the season, hence why it's got no real size to it this year. But the crown has grown really nicely now, so next year I think that will be pretty incredible. We've got another smelly flower here. This is Sauromatum phenosum. Again, puts out a smelly flower to attract flies to pollinate it, and then it puts up a rather impressive leaf like that. Very, very strange shape, and it puts on that pattern on its stem again to make itself look like it's a hardwood. Got a smaller one here, you can probably see the shape of the leaf a lot better there. I've got a canna there, I think that's canna red velvet. Again, the leaves on that have been battered by the wind and rubbed against the gunnerer, so not great. This is my onset ventricosum morellii. This has actually been battered by the wind today, the brand new leaf, lovely. But you can see, really good sized leaf, really, really nice coloration. Earlier in the year this got something called the strangles, where the leaves try to develop quicker than they should and the previous leaf gets in the way and they tie themselves in knots in the middle. So I actually took a bread knife to it and cut it straight across there. Actually it was probably about here at that time, and the growth, the rate of growth was absolutely ridiculous. As soon as we got some warm weather, you know, that was only done 2.5 months ago, and look at the size of it now. Right, I'll take you around the back garden. So we've got a bit of a weird setup. We're a mid-terrace, and we have access down the side here. Excuse all the mess. Like I say, the garden has been a working project, so this is our sort of extra bit of garden around the back, which is very, very handy because I like to grow a lot of brugmansias. Also known as angel trumpets. So if anyone knows brugmansias, they'll know they are not hardy. So all of these guys do have to be packed away for the winter. I have quite a few, as you can see, but they put on flowers that are about 1 foot long, and they are worth the effort. So we've got all different ones. There's so many flowers coming on these now. Got a variegated one. This is I think sunset variegated, which is also known as Maya or Maya now. Really nice leaf on that. Got plants that I've got extras of. Always have extras spare. These are all little Sauromatum phenosums, like the one out the front. So I do always have spares of them if anyone is interested. I've got hundreds of them down here. As soon as they the leaves die off and they go dormant for the winter, I'll be able to post them out as well. Some tomatoes. Everyone has to have tomatoes. This is usually our veg patch, but this year, because the garden's been going on, plants have just been bugged on here until I find places for them. We have Persicaria Purple Fantasy, this one. Really nice triangular leaf. Very, very striking plant when it's in a border. We've got that. This is the Trachycarpus fortunei, only a small plant, and that was the one that sailed straight through. I think we had 3 nights in a row that were -10, -9, -9, and we didn't get above 2 degrees here for 10 days. That was right through the day, the nights, just absolutely horrible. That was 2022, and it's just sailed through in a pot. So it just shows you how hardy they are. This is a ginkgo biloba, and just really nice fan style leaf. That is actually a plant I'm going to be selling because I can only fit so much in my garden now it's all done. We have got Fatsia green fingers, polycarpet green fingers. It's had a bit of damage with pests this year. I've just been so busy I've not been able to spray stuff as much as I can usually. But yeah, here we go. This is, I mean, you can see all the flowers hanging down. We're going to get a spectacular show soon. There are flowers absolutely everywhere forming. This one here is Dolus Golden. This one is going to be its first flowering of the year, but I think it's going to be a pretty spectacular, well, first and only flower of the year. It's now getting late in the season here. You know, this one is a real nice orange colour when it's out. Most of them start off at this yellow sort of colour. Even the white ones go quite yellowy, and then they come out and they go really white. And then, in fact, I can show it here. So they come out yellowy and then they go white. And the pinks, they all do the same. They come out quite yellow. But people that don't know brugmansias, they will only flower once they've formed this Y shape in the main stem. And because I have so many, and I have so many plants that I have to overwinter in such a small space, I cut my brugmansias down considerably to about a foot to a foot and a half, with just a couple of them being left taller, a couple of my favourite ones. But you can see the growth that puts on in a year, and this was just this, you know, this only come out in sort of May time, I think, April, May, and started to grow. And so this one, for some reason, just decided to get really tall before it split. So it's only done the one flower. And some others, they come out and they split quite low down, and you get flowers a lot earlier. This one, it will be a second/third flower, and it had a few in the middle. This is a new one for this year. This is Purple Rain. It has just got its first lot of flowers coming out, which I'm really happy about because it's a purple one. It's lovely. The leaves, they're like velvet. They're so soft. But that's a new one, and that was a cut-in this year, and that is standing at 5 foot tall. If I'd have had more time and fed them more, because these are the most hungry plants in the world, that would be, I can get them to 8 foot usually in the season, so it would be a lot taller. We've got a good few on this. Which variegated one is this? This is, where's the tag? Angel Flight variegated. This one has variegation, but it is double green rather than that sort of white cream. It's two different greens. And this one again has flowers absolutely everywhere, as you can see. Then here we go. This shows you how stunning the flowers are. This one's going over a little bit now, but you can see when they first sort of come out. And in the evening, the smell of brugmansia flowers is just outstanding. There's not many better smells. When these are all out in flower, we had a really good flowering earlier in the year. The smell in the evening in the garden, and if you've got the patio doors open, the smell comes into the house. It's absolutely stunning. So this is the back garden. We actually have a really small back garden. It is only 5 meters wide by 7 meters long. So I feel like I've done pretty well and used the space in the best possible way. I will get down to the bottom and I'll turn around and just show you. I'm going to try and work out how to edit the video to put a photo on of how this garden looked before I did all of this, because the change has been, well, it's been pretty incredible actually, considering I did all the work myself in between working full time and so on. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. This border was only done recently, so a lot of the plants in there are potted, because they've just been stuck in there really to fill it up, because it's too late to really plant a lot of these. Anyone who knows about these style gardens, a lot of this stuff has to be overwintered, so it has to be dug up and protected over winter, so there's no point in planting them this late in the season because I'll be lifting them again soon. So, right, let's go through some of these plants. So we'll start down the bottom. We have got Brugmansia Charles Grimaldi. So as you can see, I mean, look at us. That's a spectacular flower. And you can see why I keep them now. We have got Begonia Grande. This is, when the sun's out, these leaves actually shimmer gold. And then underneath, absolutely beautiful red. This is a peanut butter tree. Did have a caterpillar on it recently, but this, when it flowers, the flowers smell of peanut butter. So if you're a peanut butter fan, have a look out for that. This is Colocasia, Colocasia Black Marble. Really, really nice leaves on that. Not bad considering it's not been the best season warmth-wise here in the UK. This is Scheffrela macrophylla. Now this is just, it puts out, when the new leaves come out, they come out like golden bronze, and then they still show that until they get a little bit older, and that's a good sized part of a leaf, isn't it? Like when it has all 5, you can imagine how big they are. We have got, this is another standard Tetrapanax papyrifer. This is a pot grown one. There will be a lot of people that tell you can't grow these in pots. You can. You just have to make sure that you feed and water well. As long as you're feeding and water and regime's good. You can see, look how big that plant is. Don't tell me you can't grow them in pots, because you can. Again, as we said round the front, that little leaf means it's going to flower. It's really close to putting them out actually. They're not anything special really, but this is the first time I've had them flower, so it's a new one for me. This is another one of my smelly flowers. This is Gorgonidium intermedium. This is my first season with these. They put out sort of a really weird single leaf like that, so that'll be interesting to see if it flowers, because it's quite a decent sized bulb. We've got another canna here. I do like, you can see I'm all about the leaves, but I do like the odd bit of colour here and there as well. We have got my favourite canna. This is Canna Cleopatra. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about that? And the flowers, it did flower earlier in the year. The flowers are just as stunning. Comes up sort of yellow on one half and then yellow with like orange speckles on the other side, so really, really nice. We have got Begonia escargot, as in snail shell. See why it's called that, can't you? When they first come out, you can just see that pink hue because the hairs on it are very, very pink. There we go. The coleus are looking a little bit ropey because we had that frost, but also I've taken cuttings of them ready for next year, so they've been cut back quite a bit. We have got the Persicaria Purple Fantasy in here again, and that is next to Persicaria Red Dragon, and then that is next to Persicaria Batwings. I thought it was nice to plant all 3 together so you could see the contrast. We've got in the middle here a tree dahlia. Dahlia imperalis, I think it's called. When I went to Kew Gardens, I took my dad for his 70th birthday, and I saw their tree dahlia, and it really surprised me because I think it looks very much quite elder-like, and then you can strip the stem off and make him look quite bamboo-y. But this has gone absolutely crazy. It's absolutely massive. So it is hiding a few bits in here. But yeah, hoping for it to get even taller next year. But that will have to be lifted. We have got one of my rarer plants. This is Brassioopsis fatsioides. This is meant to be hardy to, I believe they say between -10 to -12. However, for the price of them, I will not be risking it. That will be potted back up and it will be protected. So, absolutely stunning leaf. I've got some other Brassioopsis in the other border, so you'll see those in a second. We've got Polonia tomentosa, the foxglove tree. Now, this can be grown in a couple of ways. It has the most amazing purple flowers. If you allow it to grow into a tree and flower, but you get leaves about this sort of size, which, but you know, they're pretty good. It's nothing wrong with those. However, you can pollard it right back down, and it will break off any extra side shoots and keep just one main stem, and it'll put up a massive stem in one season up to about 15 foot or so, and put leaves twice the size of that out either side. It almost looks like a giant sunflower. Absolutely incredible. Then we have got Brugmansia rosala. This one has got flowers coming everywhere here. That's a pink one. This is another onset Haniba. This was the same size as the ones out the front, but has been grown in a border. It's been in the ground, so you can see the difference it does make having stuff in pots in comparison to having them in the ground. I mean, that stem is massive. That will need to be lifted again though. We have got Salvia Armistad. The bees have been absolutely loving this, and this thing just adds that really nice shot of purple into the border. We have got Canna musifolia here. This thing was, well, 2.5 months ago when it went in. It was down at the bottom there, and it is just put up 4 or 5 stems, and it's trying to put out another 3 or 4. Just ridiculous. It grows so fast. At the back here we have actually got a ginger, Hedicium I think they're called. That one is Tara. It puts on a lovely orange flower at the top. And we have got a plant hiding at the back here. It's another Brassioopsis, and it's Brassioopsis hispida. Absolutely stunning plant, but I have got another one in the other border, so I'll show you that one instead. It's a lot easier to see. So we go over, we've got the Tetrapanix rex. So it just has a lot more sort of lobed leaf to it. The eucalyptus is going to be going. Here's another Brassioopsis. All the Brassioopsis are the sort of rarer pieces. They're just a lot harder to find in this country. So this is Brassioopsis bodinieri. I wasn't that keen on this one when I first got it through actually, but now the leaves are getting bigger, it is really growing on me. We have got Brassioopsis mitis. Now this is one of my favourites, but I find it one of the fussiest out of the Brassioopsis. They do not like too much water, and this thing, like any sort of too much water, you get those little fungal spots grow on the leaves. But all of these Brassioopsis have really spiky stems. That's one of their traits. We've got another Gorgonidium there. You remember the plant out the front that I said was the smelly flower, Amorphophallus? Well, this is Amorphophallus atrophiridis. This has a lovely pink margin around the edge of the leaf. Again, this is still just one leaf on there, one petiole. Absolutely stunning. The good thing about these are they'll go back to a bulb, and I will dry store them. So as much as they take up a lot of room now, see how this leaf is starting to go dormant now, probably because of the frost last week. As soon as they die off, I will lift the bulbs and I will dry store them. Then we have got a clump of Musa bajou in the middle there. This is Solanum quitoense. I don't know if you can see the spikes on that. Let me see if I can get the spikes underneath. There you go. Very spiky plant. Purple spikes on top of the leaf and white spikes underneath. That would have been a lot bigger again if I'd have sown the seeds earlier and potted it on when it needed it. But this is a palm-leafed begonia. See why I call it that. That's one of the smelly flowers. You can see the leaf is going over again there. Then we've got Brassioopsis again. This one is aculeata. This was one that I didn't think I'd like so much. When it come through, I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourites. And then we've got Trachycarpus there, and the big Trachycarpus that side. Musa lasiocarpa, the golden lotus banana. Another Brugmansia Charles Grimaldi there. Tridalia Begonia luxurians. This was from Andy, a friend of mine. He gave it to me a couple of months ago. I've now potted it on. It really needed a pot on when I first got it, but it's starting to look good now. And then probably two more plants, because I've bored you long enough. And we have got Manihot Grahimi, or Grahimi, however you want to say it, known as the hardy tapioca, I believe. I mean, just look at that leaf, absolutely stunning. And then the final one, and this is spiky. This is Solanum pyrocanthum. So I hope that's given you some ideas of some rather interesting plants, and just shows you what you can do with such a small space. Like I say, I will try and get some photos to appear in the video if I can work out how to edit it, to show you how the garden looked beforehand. But I must say again, this garden is only 5 meters wide by 7 meters back, so I feel like I've done quite a lot for the space that we've got. So it shows you can have a tropical style garden if you've got a small garden. Well, I hope I haven't bored you too much, and if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you soon.